In this video we're going to look again at trigonometry, and we're going to be looking at CA, which stands for cos theta equals A over h, so adjacent over hypotenuse. So this is used when we label up the diagram, and involved is an angle theta, an adjacent length and a hypotenuse, and no reference to the opposite length. Okay, again I'm going to use three examples like I did with when we looked at sine theta. And the first of our examples, again, first of all, label up your diagram. So opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, and then next to the angle, this is the angle here, next to it is what we call the adjacent. Now there's no reference to this length here, we don't need it, we need A, and we're not given it. So this question just involves an angle theta, 50 degrees, the adjacent length, which is what we are required to find, and the hypotenuse h, which is 6 centimeters. So it involves theta, A and h, so that's why we use cos. So cos theta equals A over h, and then substitute the numbers in. So cos 50 degrees equals A over 6. Now we need to rearrange. So we are required to move the 6. It's being divided at the moment on the A. So if we move it, change signs, we must multiply it across. So A equals 6 cos 50 degrees. Put that into our calculator, 6 cos 50. Press equals, and we get 3.9 centimeters. Okay, that's example 1 done. Example 2, again, first thing, label up the lengths. So opposite the right angle, h, next to the angle A, again, no reference to O in this question. These are all to do with cos theta and the different types they could give you. No reference to this, so our question just involves an angle theta, A, which we've been given as 5 centimeters, and h, which we are required to find. No reference to O, so question involving an angle, A and h are cos. So cos theta equals A over h. Substitute. Cos 25 degrees equals 5 over h. Now, just like in the previous video with sine theta, we have to do a double rearrangement because the value that we require to make the subject is on the bottom to start with of our fraction, is the denominator, so we must multiply it across as our first step. So h cos 25 degrees equals 5, and then we are going to move the cos 25, it's multiplied into the h at the minute, so we must divide it across. So h equals 5 divided by cos 25 degrees. And if we put that in our calculator, 5 divided by cos 25 is 5.5 to 1 decimal place. Okay, and the last one, centimeters, sorry, the last one. So, starting again, label up the diagram. So, across from the right angle is h, next to the angle is A, and we are required to find the angle theta. So, theta, we don't know. A is involved in question, that is 4. H is involved in the question, that is 6. So theta, A and H, theta, A and H, again, cos, because we know that these are all cos, but just to make sure you are understanding why I'm using them, no reference again to the O. So cos theta equals, substitute 4 over 6, make sure you don't get those the wrong way around, it's be A over H. And just like in the previous example with when we needed to find an angle, to basically do the opposite of cos, we have to do the inverse of cos, which is cos to the minus 1. So theta equals the inverse of cos, cos to the minus 1 of 4/6. And just like in the previous video, to get the inverse of cos, it's in yellow above the cos button, so we press shift cos, 4 divided by 6. Oops. Shift cos of 4 and 6. 48.2 degrees. So again, 3 different types of examples. Again, no reference to opposite in any of these. Make sure that when you're setting up your questions that it's easier if you have the right angle and the angle on the bottom, so it might mean changing your paper around to see, but you need to firstly reference up your lengths to make sure that you are using the correct trig ratio to start with.